Japanese folklore takes us to the world of spirits, demons, and dragons, the world of the Yokai. An ancient lineage of tricksters, demi-gods, and beings from beyond the here and now. Today, on Scream to Screen, we travel to the waters of the southern hemisphere, where the creature known as the Ningen has surfaced. A yokai who takes the shape of a whale-human hybrid. A yokai who may have come to us perhaps as a warning, or possibly as a protector of the earth itself. But before we dive into the cold ocean to swim among the mysteries it may hold, make sure you subscribe to The Graveyard Shift and let us know in the comments which true-life horror stories you'd like for us to cover in the future. Yokai may be wicked pranksters, like the Zashiki Warashi, mischievous children who might play small tricks in the home they inhabit, or lash out with wicked misfortune for the homeowner. Or they might be evil spirits, like the Yamanba, the mountain hag who disguises herself as a kindly old woman, offering lodging to weary travelers, then revealing her true identity once the victim is asleep, devouring them with a large, terrifying mouth on top of her head. Or a yokai might be kind, like the Tatsu, aloof dragons that have been known to offer magical items to noble warriors in need. Most yokai have existed in Japan for centuries, but occasionally a new spirit is found. A spirit who may be kind and helpful, or might be wicked and destructive. A yokai who must be listened to and respected. In the mid-2000s, a new yokai appeared, discovered by Japanese research whaling ships in the Antarctic. Ningen is Japanese for the word human. A supposed official document calls the being Hitogata Butai, human-shaped objects, but the sailors named them Ningen, human, and would speak of the Ningen of the Antarctic. Their description justifies the name. The world first heard about the Ningen from the online text board site 2channel in the year 2002. An online poster with the moniker Beito-kun, which means Miss Part-Timer, tells in her post of a friend who encountered the Hitogata Butai, or Ningen as he called it. Her friend said she could publish this tale if she agreed to keep him an anonymous source, so she refers to him only as Mr. F. Mr. F was a sailor on one of the Japanese whaling research ships. Whale research ships were Japan's way of maneuvering past international whale hunting restrictions, claiming annual whaling is important for scientific study and management of the whale herds. These ships brought in large hauls they claimed were important for scientific study. But what Mr. F saw that day wasn't a whale. He described seeing Hitogata Butai, or human-shaped objects. In the past 10 years of research, he saw several types of the creatures, including one that looked human, with 4 limbs and a head, as well as one who resembled 2 humans with upper bodies joined together. In each case, the creature was 30 to 90 feet in length and always a stark white in color. The whaling research ship was assigned to study data regarding whales, even those they didn't capture, and the on-ship scientists decided that this creature needed to be documented. They attempted to get photos, but the figures were at a distance and looked more like icebergs than living creatures. Beito-kun continued her story, saying that Mr. F remembered seeing them 10 years earlier, and it was a long time before they saw another. I don't know if they were human, he said. But there are strange creatures down there that we call Ningen. They don't approach ships, and if a ship tries to come close, they dive down. He also claimed that the authorities were involved in a cover-up of the sightings. Of course, like UFO reports of the United States, claiming a cover-up only helps the spread of information and rumor. Mr. F had begun his story to Beito-kun when a popular Japanese song, Dame Ningen, played on the car stereo. Ningen translates as human in English, and Mr. F casually said, "Did you know there are Ningen in Antarctica?" She thought he meant the research crew, but he said no, explaining that they are human-shaped and maybe they're human or maybe they're not. Then he described the whale-human creatures he saw, and the name Ningen stuck. In the years since this creature was first spotted by the mysterious Mr. F, more photos and even some videos have surfaced. In them, you can see a large shape with what appears to be eyes and a mouth swimming or drifting in the ocean. They look nothing like any animal of that size known to man, but it could simply be whales, a giant squid, or even simply submerged ice caught in such an angle it seems unworldly. But many who see the evidence are convinced this is a new yokai, a human-like whale creature they now call Ningen of the Antarctic, or simply Ningen. Since the Ningen surface after dark, getting clear photographic evidence has been unsuccessful. A yokai is not simply a demon, though many people unfamiliar with the term might think so. It is rather a moment, a feeling, a phenomenon that creates an embodiment of the sensation with a supernatural entity. Japan is a country filled with many terrains, mountains, forests, rivers, and oceans. Each one has its mysteries, so each one has its yokai. Water yokai are duplicitous by nature, just like water, which we need to survive, but too much and we drown. One is the frog-like kappa, who are playful water spirits that delight in challenging the lone passerby to sumo wrestling. But they might also take a child and drown it. You can appease the kappa by offering it cucumber, its favorite treat. And in fact, the kappa roll, a familiar sushi dish, is made of cucumber in tribute to the kappa. The Ningen seems to be a water spirit, like the kappa, but in its brief appearance, it has yet to tell us what it wants, what kind of spirit it might be. Is the Ningen of the Antarctic an Ara-Mitama, the wicked wild soul, or Nigi-Mitama, the benevolent tranquil soul? Is it a coincidence that the Ningen are first seen by a whaling research ship? Are they observing the ships as much as scientists on those ships are researching them? Mankind has scarred its influence on the ocean with islands of floating plastic, oil spills, and the decimation of many species of fish. Perhaps the Ningen is a guardian, protecting the oceans and its inhabitants. If there were a guardian, it seems likely that now would be the time to show itself, even sporadically, to suggest we do better. There is another answer. 50 million years ago, a group of animals fed by the water's edge. They spent growing amounts of time in the water until they committed to aquatic life completely. One branch of these animals evolved into hippos, while a different branch swam completely in the water, their legs morphing through time into fins, until they resembled fish more than they did land animals they evolved from. Are the Ningen nothing more than an alternate branch of evolutionary development? Perhaps simply another species yet to be discovered. Or maybe the Ningen never existed. Maybe they actually are simply a story told online. A story that gained its own momentum until it seemed real. Real or imaginary, it seems the Ningen may be exactly what we need these days. Yokai have taken over. In 1996, Nintendo released a new creation, Pokémon. Each creature has a mystical power, much like the yokai of tradition. Anime and manga incorporated their own yokai-like beings. So it is no surprise that once the Ningen were exposed, the world of popular culture would embrace them. MU Magazine has never shied away from the controversial and mysterious topics. A Japanese magazine devoted to cryptids and paranormal encounters, back issues showed them dealing with UFOs, the many yokai, or supernatural spirits, and even the Loch Ness Monster itself. It was only natural that they would devote an issue to the Antarctic Ningen. Cryptids are animals whose existence have not scientifically been documented, but are believed to be real based on anecdotal stories, like leprechauns, Krampus, and the Banshee. The Ningen fall into this category, with evidence still considered questionable. In November 2007, MU Magazine offered a Google Maps screenshot of a white shape in the South Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Namibia. Too long and narrow to be a whale, but without any other explanations to offer. This photo, they claimed, is proof of the existence of the Ningen. In addition, they offered photographic proof that the creature can excrete a flying plasma as a possible weapon. In 2007, manga author Tenkyoin told the story of the Ningen of the Antarctic. Mirroring the tale of Mr. F, the character Saito, a freelance writer, goes to interview Yamaguchi, a UMA specialist, about rumors of the whale-human monster spotted in the Antarctic. UMA stands for Unidentified Mysterious Animal, and there are, in fact, experts who study these mythological and mysterious cryptids. In the story, Yamaguchi refuses to speak to Saito. But weeks later, she receives a video in the mail. Saito has joined a whaling ship and found his creature. The video shows the Ningen roaring out the words, "just unforgivable," a warning to humans about the devastating effects of climate change. Saito has found his creature, but the truth is so powerful, he ends up killing himself. The Ningen appear in a J-pop song, anime, and even the online art community called DeviantArt. Here they are given emotional stories told as paintings, art that show the size and power of these creatures. The art world has embraced the Ningen as powerful reminders that we need to protect our world. Despite more witness reports and some alleged photographic proof of the Ningen, the fact remains that this creature was first reported on a public chat room. Critics charge that the creature is just a creation of a woman seeking attention, and her vision has taken on a life of its own. No more real than its Japanese counterpart, Godzilla. What did Mr. F see? Was this simply a case of an overactive imagination? A sailor on the Antarctic Sea overcome with ennui who was willing to see monsters. Maybe his childhood stories of the Ningyo, the Japanese mermaid, led him to see a white beluga whale and fuse the image with his memories, creating a new beast, the Ningen. Or possibly, just possibly, the Ningen is real. Why has no one spotted such a large beast before? The ocean is vast, and it still holds many secrets from us. The Ningen might be one. Perhaps the Ningen has been spotted before. In 1958, the Japanese Antarctic research ship, the Soya, got trapped in the ice in the Antarctic. The sailors were airlifted to safety, but unfortunately 15 husky dogs were left behind. A year later, the Soya returned and found 2 of the dogs still alive, having survived the Arctic conditions. The story was made famous by the 1983 movie Antarctica. But what the film left out was on February 13, 1958, at about 7 p.m., the Soya encountered a large creature at Lutzow-Holm Bay. Alarmed by the size of the unidentified creature, which only surfaced for 30 seconds, Captain Matsumoto Muji named it Antarctic Godzilla. Was this the first actual sighting of the Hitogata Butai we call the Ningen? Maybe the timing isn't just arbitrary. With climate change melting our glaciers and ice caps, perhaps the Ningen are just a warning or a cautionary tale. Or did a member of Greenpeace, in an inspired mood of imagination, create the story to call attention to the still active whaling industry? No matter what its source, a real mythological creature come to life, or an international manipulation of our mythologies by a clever online poster, the stories have, in a short time, captured the imagination of the public. So, what do you think? Has another water being emerged from the icy waters of the Antarctic? Do you think this Yokai is Ara-Mitama, a wicked wild soul, or Nigi-Mitama, a benevolent tranquil soul? Or has a creature the size of a blue whale suddenly exposed itself to mankind? Is the Earth so vast with so many unexplored areas still to be explored that we simply missed another animal? An animal that eluded detection in the vast unexplored waters of Antarctica? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe to The Graveyard Shift. Leave a comment if you're brave enough, and as always, check back next time to find out what else will make it from scream to scream.